Welcome everyone to our next edition of the 49er Industry Chat. We are going to hold as we welcome our participants into our industry chat today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're very excited for today's chat.
I know I am.
Me three.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Noemi Guevara. I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement. I'm very excited to jump in here today and do a short welcome to all of our participants. A couple of housekeeping items before we start. If you have any questions throughout the chat today, please use our Q&A box to submit any questions for our guest speaker, as that helps us to keep track and make sure all your questions are answered. And without further ado, I'd love to introduce our moderator for our chat, Jenna Quinn. She is our Assistant Director for Alumni Engagement. So we're excited to turn it over to her. Jenna.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Noemi. And yeah, I think that this is going to be a good one today. I know I'm excited, and I just want to go ahead and dive right into Nancy's bio and get started. So Nancy is a digital program manager at Salesforce and has a background of 15 plus years experience in digital marketing. She's a proud first-generation daughter to Vietnamese and Chinese immigrants and is a Long Beach local. She is now a successful Fortune 500 senior marketer, financial content writer, keynote speaker, university educator, DEI advocate, enthusiastic storyteller, and best-selling published author of How We Got Here, the journal. She currently sits on the board for the SoCal Citizen Philanthropy Council and is the global communication chair for Asiapacforce, an ERG at Salesforce, amplifying AAPI voices. She is also on the board for Advertising Alliance for Mental Health, a free mental health platform available for anyone to access. Nancy is currently the leader in residence at CSULB, where she helps by speaking and teaching students about how to start their careers during and after college by networking, interviewing, and branding themselves while doing this professionally with gratitude. Lastly, she is in the Leadership Long Beach class of 2023 and is Miss Southern California 2023. In both roles, she has the privilege to serve her community with her philanthropic work and love for the city. I'm tired, Nancy. That was a long.
I'm tired too. Oh my gosh, that's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I feel like you passed like a test of I don't even know. Yeah. I mean that is. Thank you.
And you know, I'm just going to turn this over to you. I know that you have a great presentation for us, and I cannot wait to learn how to make my own boxes.
Yeah, thank you, Jenna. I know that was a tongue twister. I was even like, wow, that's a tough one. So thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Luong, and I will be talking today about really creating your own boxes and how to market yourself to be in those boxes. So when I say that, I think, in life, for me at least, I feel like I grew up where you could only do one thing. And I realized through life, you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to be talking about how to do that, what that looks like, and how to create your own reality and really do anything that you want in life, because there's no limit to it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my background first, so that you can understand who I am, where I come from. That way, when we're talking about these things, about these topics, you'll have a better understanding of my background and why it applies. So I'm originally from the Bay Area. That's just important because I love the Bay Area. So, and I came to school in 2005. I moved down to Long Beach and went to Cal State Long Beach and graduated in 2009. I still live in Long Beach because amazing. And I now work in marketing, which was my major. Recently, I published a book called How We Got Here. It's a guided journal with questions you can ask your parents and loved ones. And recently, in the last year, I am on several boards, and I think this is really important because just last year, I was like, I don't even know what a board member is, but people were saying, you should really look into being on a board. And I went to a meeting last year around this time, and I met a bunch of companies and nonprofits that needed board members, and nothing really fit. And I didn't feel like intuitively, I don't do things to do things. I feel like you have to feel it. And in the last year, I've gained so much knowledge about the city and like just places that I really love and belong in. And I've been asked and so graciously to be on board. So I think it's really important to do things that you feel that sit right with you. So and not to do things just to do it. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on. So I won't go through the boards of what I'm at because poor Jenna had to name them all. But if you want to, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I will have the slide up at the end, or you can just type in my first and last name and you'll find me. Okay, so what I do now, we talked about how I currently work in marketing, and I work on onboarding and helping customers as well learn about our products. So really in the educational space of helping our customers at Salesforce. A few companies I've worked at a marketing agency. I've worked at eHarmony, which is a dating website. I've worked at AUG, which is one of the largest sports and entertainment companies in the world. They own LA Live. They own a bunch of sports venues all over the US, as well as sporting teams. And then currently I work at Salesforce, and I'll dive into all of this. So my day job, it's so funny because I was just talking to a friend about this last night. The first thing we always talk about here, I feel like in America, probably because I just got back from Europe. And no one has asked me that what I do for a living, but everyone here always asks, right? It's the first thing you ask when you're in a networking event or just meeting new people, or even people at the gym I meet, like they'll say, oh, what do you do for a living? And so, I think that is one main box here, right? One main box is what do you do at work? And, I just explained what I do, but what I think is so important about boxes and where you work is also the things that you could do. So at Salesforce, I'm part of an equality group called Asiapacforce, and it's really to amplify voices, support our Asian Pacific community. And that's something that's really important to me and something I'm passionate about because being an Asian American myself, my parents were immigrants and refugees, and these are all things that I find very important to helping my community and really talking about my family's journey. And so when you think of a box, and when I think of a box, I don't just think about my day job, like what I do day to day, but like what other boxes I can fit in or create for myself, right? So like these things I'm really passionate about. And I was able to find spaces at work that really, that have really fulfilled me in so many ways. And I think a huge thing that's becoming really important now is fulfillment and passion and purpose, and knowing what that is. And to me, you can find this in your own job space or other places around. There's communities for it. So that's really important. And what I want to note here is I'm in these places too because of the things I talk about and share, and that's marketing yourself. For instance, last week was World Refugee Day, and a group at Salesforce asked me to write a story about my parents' refugee story and about how it is to be an immigrant and immigrant daughter. And they know that because I talked about it on LinkedIn. I'll talk about how my parents are refugees, how immigrants are so important, how I really want to support our community. And so last year they asked me to be on a panel. I didn't even know what World Refugee Day was. See, so this is why it's important. Like, talk about the things that you care about, because you don't even know that there's space for you, but there is. And then after talking about it, they asked me to be on a panel last year and write a story. And this is the article I have here in the bottom corner. And then this year I hosted the whole event. Just last year, I had no idea there was a day for this. So really, if you're passionate about something, it doesn't matter if it's plants, music, cards, Pokemon, I don't freaking know, whatever. There is something out there for you and space out there. You might not know, but talk about these things, and we'll deep dive into what that looks like. So another thing that I did was, I wrote this book called How We Got Here. It's a guided journal with 50 questions to ask your parents or loved ones about their history. And a huge part I wrote this was because my own journey was really learning about myself. And a huge part of that, who you are is really around how you were raised and the people that raised you. And I don't think I realized that until I started doing my own self-work, going to therapy, you know, really honing into values that weren't valuable to me anymore. And I want to do a deep dive on my parents, and not just their history and how they got here, which is very important, but also like on a family level of like what they went through, like, and figure out why they are the way they are, because ultimately we are kind of products of people around us that raised us and that we surround ourselves with. So, you know, all that to say, this is why I wrote the book, and I was in the paper for it twice, because I shared these stories. You know, I shared it with people in the Long Beach community. I shared it with the university. I shared it with people that it would resonate with, and this is creating the energy. And all this to say is you really have to be your own self-advocate and talk about things you're doing, because if you're not, no one else is going to do it for you. I'm not in the paper because someone found me and was like, hey, I was talking about it where the energy was being, you know, like shared, and then reaching out to people, like, you know, reaching out and saying, hey, press telegram. I'm a Long Beach local. I wrote a book, you know, and I found this contact through people that told me about it. Like, so after I was talking about this book, someone said, hey, you should really reach out to the press telegram. I know writers there. Here's an email address. So I just, you know, I was like, okay. And the point of this too is tell your story, which is funny because it's telling my story about my story, but it's telling them, when you email someone, tell them why you're emailing them, you know, be intentional, tell them about what you're doing, why you're writing to them, what the purpose is, you know, not just, oh, I wrote a book and here it is. It's like, okay, then why did you write the book? What is it about? Where can I find it? Why do you want people to know about this? So you have to create your own story when you're sharing and wanting to create this impact and domino effect. So it's really important to do that. Right now I do a lot of work at Cal State Long Beach, and so I'm so glad that I can do this chat. And I wanted to share this because about 10 years ago, I started speaking at organizations at Cal State Long Beach about marketing, like at AMA, which is American Marketing Association, and other business associations. And the last few years, I really wanted to deep dive, like get more, like I want to do more, because I'm like, this is really helping students. And if it wasn't for my mentors, I wouldn't be at where I'm at today. So I think it's so important to make an impact. But I was thinking, like, how can I do more? And a huge part of that was me reaching out to the university and saying, you know, I really want to do more, not just at organizations, but in classrooms as well, and making a bigger impact, because I have been in this industry for so long that I would love to share like real world life skills to students where maybe it's not taught necessarily in classes, but I know this is going to help them, because I had to learn, and I wish I knew back when I was 22 about all this stuff. And so I reached out to people at the university that could help me. And it takes time, but you know, people saw the potential in that and gave me opportunities. And that is why I was able to be which I'm so grateful for, the leader in residence at the Euclid Center, which is a department in the College of Business, where I am able to do more with speaking and teaching students about this. But I had to put myself out there. So you have to get really uncomfortable and start reaching out to people about what you want to do and why, and wait, be patient. It doesn't happen overnight, you know, but you need to put yourself out there in these ways. And also I want to really make an impact for in Long Beach, which I love the city. And so I joined Leadership Long Beach through Jamie Roeder, who's the director of the Clay Center. She was like, I know you love giving back. I think you should really take this 1-year course program, and you know, you can learn so much about the city, learn about other people that are aligned with you, and you can make more impact there. And I was so resistant. I was like, oh no, I don't think I belong here. Like, you know, these seem like really cool, amazing city people that like are important. I don't know, that was me. And she's like, no, you can do it. And so I think too, you know, sometimes we might not have the confidence in ourselves, but other people may see that. And we got to see that in ourselves too at the end of the day. And so I just graduated from that as well. And then I recently became a Southern California. And by the way, this is the purpose of me telling you every single thing I'm doing, because of the intention behind it. So we're going to deep dive into all of this of why I'm telling you this as well. So I entered a pageant the day of. I had no idea what a pageant entailed, but I heard that they needed women in Long Beach to join, and the title winners, title holders would be able to volunteer, donate, give back time. And so that's why I ended up doing it. And this is important too to talk about because this is marketing yourself. Like I won a pageant, meaning it's how you show up. You know, I showed up with a $15 Forever 21 dress. I was super old, but I answered the questions. I believed in myself. I was genuine. So like telling, you all this is important because being genuine, showing up as yourself, I didn't even know what the heck I was doing, but I did, and I showed up. And so part of that is showing up. Like if you show up in the right places intentionally, you're able to create these boxes. And now to myself, I mean, it's funny because when I told my work, like, oh, by the way, I became Miss Southern California, they're like, what? I was like, I know, I wear a Salesforce hoodie every day and look like a bum every day. I know, this is shocking. I'm shocked too. But, the purpose is what I told you, giving back. And so all this to say, you can create any box you want. And, it took a while for me to tell my work actually, because I'm like, I don't know how they're going to perceive this, but I know why I did it. And when I told them, I was like, this is why I did it. I want to be an Asian American woman in this box, in redefining beauty, showing women you can be any ethnicity. You don't have to be a size 0. You can be a person that's intentional and want to give back and kind-hearted, and beauty comes within. And so like, these are all the things I wanted to do as well, on top of giving back in this way. So it's really important to know that you can do whatever you want. Okay, so let's dive into it. So marketing yourself. Okay, so what the importance of marketing yourself is, first I want to talk about this. So to me, it's really important to do marketing for yourself because everyone has an intention here. So for me, I think that looking at your intention is really important, first and foremost. When I talk about intention, it's about why. Why do you want to do the things that you do? And so you must get really clear with this. Get so clear about why you're doing what you're doing that someone can never tell you something differently. So I'm going to give you an example. Everything I just showed you, I only focus on my intention. And I told you my intention on each of those slides, and they outline. It's really about things I enjoy, giving back, all these things. But it doesn't have to be that. Your intention can just be, I want to have fun. I love plants, I love them. They bring me joy. I love music. I love, whatever is you're doing and honing in on, doesn't have to be because you're making an impact. It can be, I enjoy doing this because it brings me peace. It gives me love. Makes me smile, makes me laugh, whatever it is. Why? So if I ask you, why are you doing that? You can have an answer, and you have to feel so comfortable with it. Like you have to believe in yourself where it's like, I do this because I just do. That could be the answer. I just do. Okay. But when you believe yourself so much of why you are doing things you love, that is going to help you market yourself easier because you're so focused on that no one could tell you otherwise. So I think oftentimes people feel uncomfortable with marketing yourself because they're like, what are people going to think of me? What if this? I don't want to brag. Oh, I get it. I've been there so many times too, where I'm like, I don't know what people are going to think of me. Well, to market yourself, you better start getting uncomfortable and getting intentional. So one, when you are intentional, like if I said like, no, you are just planting things because XYZ, you're like, no, I just do. Like you gotta get that at that level where you're like, I know what I'm doing and I know who I am, and that's what matters. So then when you're able to believe in yourself in that way, then you can get comfortable with marketing yourself and sharing these stories. And for me, I'll give my example and you'll have to figure out yours. But for me, I think it's important for me to post about things I do, market myself, because my intention is always to make a greater impact or to be in spaces where I can, that I enjoy, and sometimes I don't know the answer. Like I just told you about the World Refugee Day. I don't know. I just know that I love where my family comes from. I'm so grateful. I love this. I have no idea, by the way. Sometimes you can be intentional, but not know what space that is or what box you're getting into, but you just love it. So share it and get really uncomfortable with getting comfortable. So, okay. So a lot of people right now, including myself at times, is finding what are these boxes I can be in? What can I do? I know that whether you're a student that just graduated and you don't know what you're doing, or you're at any age where you're like, hey, I'm not feeling fulfilled anymore. What can I do? Think about what your passions are and what you really love. And, if you aren't sure what that is, which can be hard. I mean, a lot of times I felt lost. And sometimes I'm kind of like, okay, I'm not sure what I want to do next, or, I want to do more. a great thing is, one, ask yourself, who out there do I really admire and want to be like, who inspires me? And like, what are the things that I love? Like, think about the stuff you're watching, reading, the things that like get you excited when you're talking about something or the thought of it. And if you're not sure, ask the people around you. This is really helpful. Ask people around you, like, hey, like, I'm trying to like figure out what I want to do, and ask people that you trust. Okay. First off, you got to ask people, the right people. Okay, let's talk about this real fast. Side note. Everyone you're around right now, think about who you're surrounded by, because this is going to help you just in life. You want to surround yourself around people that are just as intentional, and meaning like they want to grow, they want to learn, they love they're passionate too. Because you don't want to ask people that are not like that, because they might you want to be around good people. I'll put it that way. Be around good people that are going to help you, because you don't want to be around some people that are like maybe negative or not inspired, things like that, because they're going to give you that same feedback. And then you're like kind of back to square one. You want people that are learning, mentors, people that you see that are, that inspire you, like good people that are going to give you that feedback, honest feedback, that are intentional, meaning that they want to help you. So you don't want to ask, Susie over there who like isn't loving life, and she's in like, I don't freaking know. Like, I don't know, you're good right now, just be grateful. It's like you want people like that want to grow too. So ask people around that. And then also, I think a huge thing I've had is a lot of fear. Like a lot of my life, I've always had fear, like starting something new, or, can I be in that box? Do I belong there? I don't know what I'm doing. And one thing that has helped me with one coach that I have is she always tells me like, people will have fear in their life, but it's not about getting rid of the fear, but really bringing that fear on your journey with you. So like lean into it and be like, all right, fear in me, like we're still going to go. It doesn't matter. We're going, and don't resist it. Just like lean into it and be like, all right, buddy, me and you, we're going in. Okay. We're going to do it. And don't worry about it. We'll deal with the, things later. And then just know too, it's never too late. I'm 36. I never thought I would enter a pageant at 36, or start a program at 36, or even think about new career paths, or just things that, that are new to me, and making new friends and expanding my network. And so I think it's important at any age. I have friends that are in their 60s, 50s, 40s that are figuring out what boxes they want to be. I have friends that are moms that, that just all these things. It really is never too late to do anything. So I really want to emphasize that. Don't ever think it's too late to start anything new or to do something, because that's just society telling us we can't do anything, but that's changing now, and we can do whatever we want. Okay, so for me, when we are looking at new boxes, I think it's so important to really ask, everything I've done that I showcased to you of, every box I'm in now, it's because I've asked. First off, I've changed my mindset where I'm like, okay, I can do these things. I don't know how. I don't know how to start sometimes, but I know I want to do this, and I can. So having the mindset of, I can do this. I might not know how, but if you ask anyone, I'm pretty sure people are gonna, I know most people are gonna be like, I had no idea what I was doing, including me. And we don't, and that's okay. That's why it's good to ask for help. Get a mentor, ask people that are in the industries that you really want to be in. I have mentors, coach, I have friends that can help me. I have colleagues. Ask for help to those that that you trust, and they will help you, whether that's advice. And now they know the knowledge. Like everything I've done, I'm like, okay, life is like about planting seeds. You're gonna get a bunch of seeds. You don't know where it's gonna go sometimes, but you're throwing them at the right people, and something will stick. And that's how I look at my life. I'm like, I don't know where this is gonna go. Whether that is, yes, whatever that box is, whether it's everything I talked about, or even places that you never thought you could be, with having a vacation somewhere. I'm talking about any seed you want. Sometimes I will just throw something out there and be like, you know what? I don't know how, but I'm going to figure out how someone can live here, or how I'm going to live here, or something I want to do. And I just throw out seeds, and they're intentional seeds. Okay. They're not just like Costco bag. This is like, I'm talking about, you got some good quality seed you're trying to throw out there. It's about quality, not quantity, and it maybe both. Okay. But you want to be very mindful of what you're throwing out there, because that is energy that's going out to the world, where you're like, okay, I want that. And then So once you figure out what boxes you want to go to, these are like my main advice I would give you for marketing yourself. Okay, first and foremost, we already talked about how to be comfortable with marketing and being confident with that, but really post about on social media, on LinkedIn, on anything, even, if you're not comfortable with that, which I think people should be getting comfortable with that at this point, with especially we're in the digital world, share with the friends, share with whatever you're doing, pass that on. And I compare it to a party. Okay, imagine you are having a great party. You want people to go to your party for whatever reason. You want them to have fun, you want them to learn, whatever party it is. If you don't invite them to the party, how are they going to know about it? So think about whatever you're doing, like it's your party and you want the right people to come. And so you're inviting people, and that you don't even know who those people are sometimes because you want to invite the right people, but tell them about it. Tell them the story behind that, about the things that you're doing, just the way I did earlier, because you'll attract the right people to go to your party. And one thing I want to say is, I think it's so important to focus on small sometimes. Sometimes when we get too like, I want to do all these things, it can be overwhelming. And then you're like, you know what, forget it, scrap this whole idea. Just start with one person and be like, hey, maybe this one person is going to care about their family history, a refugee story, about an impact I'm making, about something I'm doing, or about whatever I enjoy. So think about that one person it can impact and start like that. Like I think like that. That way I don't like overwhelm myself, because sometimes when I'm like, I want everyone to know, I want to do all these things, I'm like, oh, and then I just like scrap the whole idea. I'm like, this is too overwhelming. I'm just gonna go back into my turtle shell. So if you feel that way, then think, okay, maybe one person will see this. And if not, that's okay too. But maybe this will help one person. And think about all the times like where one person is posting something where like that person doesn't even know that you made the whole day. Like they might have shared something where it like resonated with you, and you're like, wow, that changed the whole trajectory of how I feel right now in my day. So really think about that. And then when you are marketing yourself, you have to learn to advocate for yourself and reach out to people. I told you, like, I reach out to people that are in the same in that same space, and it might not be them, but it's other people, right? So really get comfortable with reaching out to people that you find interesting, or companies that you really like, or communities, or whatever, with joining, sharing, telling them about yourself, because this is how energy exudes. If you're by yourself at home and just keeping everything to yourself, you're not going to make an impact. But when you're sharing with other like-minded people, or maybe people in that realm, and it might not be the right people, but it's getting that out there of what you're doing. So post about things that you're really proud of, that you're even wanting to do, and then ask people too to share that. A huge part of marketing yourself is amplifying. So in order for you to amplify, ask people to share your things as well, or like where you can kind of have you could share like their own platform. So for instance, I've been on several podcasts, several articles, things like that. And it's through people that are like, hey, that's really interesting, I want you to talk about that on my platform. So, reach out to those people, start following people on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on social media, where you're like, I want to be part of the storytelling, and share that there. A huge thing I want to talk about is, really changing your mindset. But something that I do is like, for all these boxes that I wanted to be in, I first imagined it. Even though it was hard, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but you have to believe in yourself. And I know that can be hard to do. That's why it's good to have that mentorship and support system. But I even tell myself today positive affirmations about myself. I'll say like, you can do this. I got this. Like, I can make this happen. And I do this every day. Even at night before I go to bed, I'll listen to positive affirmations to really just hone into my thoughts and being positive. So I say be positive, because life is about energy. And when you put your energy onto like I can do this, I will figure it out, and focus on that. So to me, I'm very about focusing and putting my energy on things I can do. I don't focus on things I cannot do. And with that is being around the right people, and then, really trusting the process. Like I told you guys, it took time. It takes time. Okay. It's not overnight. And I know we're in the world of instant gratification. I get that, but really trusting and putting that out there.
So I did get a question, Nancy, and so I want to ask it for them before you get
Sure.
off the slide. They want to know, how do you navigate putting your life out there without feeling self-conscious or like a show off?
Oh, that's a great question, because I used to be so self-conscious and feeling like, oh, am I showing off too much? So it really goes back to and this is like, that's why it's so important to know your intention, to know why you are doing it. So I really want to emphasize that, because not until I understood that is now I post everything. So, and because I know my intention, so like I stopped worrying about what people thought that might think of me in a not the light that I am trying to put out there, because I'm so intentional. Like every single thing that I talk about or I post or put out there, and I will ask myself before I post something, why are you doing this? And I have to get so sure of why. Okay, I'm posting this because, and by the way, I don't it's not like I'm also showcasing my intention at times. I am in a different way of telling my story, but I know in my soul and my heart why I'm doing that. And a huge part of that, I'm like, okay, I want more of that. I want to either be in this space or share this because this might help someone, or really because something I care about. So when you really hone into like the why, you care about people that are going to resonate with it. So I like going back to that one person, I care about the one person that's going to get it versus like the 99 people that will not get it. And if they don't, like, it's not my problem at that point. And trust me, it took me years to feel comfortable like this. Like, and I hope now that, you know, with me sharing this will get you more comfortable. So when you're more comfortable with like the why behind it, and by the way, before, sometimes I was not intentional. I was like, oh, I'm really proud of this, but you know, I just really, it was for my ego at times. And like now I look at it as like an impact and caring and the joy and love of like, how can this help someone? Or maybe this is just for me. Sometimes I'll post stuff for myself. I'll say, this is just how I want to feel today. Like, this is a self-expression of how I feel for myself. And so when you get to that point, you will become more comfortable with sharing your stories. And that is a great segue, Jenna, to the next slide of confidence. How do you do that? Okay. Sometimes you cannot do it yourself. That is why till this day, I still have everyone I talked about, mentors, a coach. You know, I still work on myself day to day. I surround myself with good people. So these are the things I do to help my confidence. And it's life-changing. One, I call it best friend talk. So one, I always, if I'm catching myself speaking negatively or I'm not confident about something, I will talk to myself like, what would you tell your friend Amber or whoever? I would tell her this. Okay, then you tell yourself that. You're like, okay, I'm going to tell myself that because that's what I would tell my best friend. And that is self-love. You have to talk to yourself like your best friend. Now, when you cannot, that is when you talk to your best friend or whoever that is, you know, that it's okay. That's, you know, you try to talk to yourself like that. And if you cannot, which not every day is perfect, then you actually talk to someone that you trust, which I named a mentor, a coach, your actual friend, whoever. I read a lot of books and videos on, and you can watch YouTube videos. And I listen every day. I listen to YouTube videos that are like actually books, kind of like audibles, but they're free on YouTube, by the way. And I listen to books that really help my confidence and positivity and really learning about myself. And I'll do this when I'm getting ready, when I'm going to bed, things like that, because that helps my confidence. I also have learned to embrace in my weirdness. I think everyone feels like a weirdo at times, and leaning into it and just being like, this is who I am. I'm not going to resist it. I'm just who I am. Like, that has helped a lot. And then knowing about imposter syndrome too, that so many people, even the most successful people like Lady Gaga and Beyonce, have imposter syndrome, which is basically when you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. And it's like, we do know what we're doing. And if you can feel like everyone has it, and another whole talk will be probably about imposter syndrome, which I'm sure someone will talk about, but it's basically getting yourself off that ledge, which is, hey, I was chosen to be here, and I know my worth, and I know what I can bring to the table. So that's really important to know as well. And then just being yourself. I mean, I tried to not be myself for so many years. I was like, But you know what? You just got yourself. So at the end of the day, being yourself is what's most important. And that is the best advice I can give you when marketing yourself, to be genuine, to be authentic, to use your own voice and not change your voice to be like someone else. Yes, if you want to, if you look up to someone and you're like, hey, I want to speak more like that, go for it. But at the end of the day, what's going to stick the most is being yourself, because that's truly who you are, and your own realness and authenticity and being genuine. And when you're marketing yourself, that is the best tone to use, is your own voice. Okay, so this last slide I have is really about how to show up. And this is a slide, I will say, that is really helpful when you're showing up with anything. So whether you're trying to get into these new boxes, or you're marketing yourself, or you're, a huge part of this is networking as well. For me to get into new boxes, or boxes I want to go to or create, I think networking and opening up your circle to others is so important. For so many years, I was comfortable with just being in my own little box. I'm like, no, I got this. I only want my circle of friends, only certain people I know. But that's what I'm saying. You got to get uncomfortable. You want to expand yourself, and you'll know when to expand yourself. It's when you start getting uncomfortable. You're starting to get bored. You're stagnant. You feel like you could do more. You feel like you want to be in these other places. You need to start networking and being and opening yourself up. So, I just have a list of things that it's important for me when I'm networking and talking to other people, besides being yourself, which is like the best thing I could say is being comfortable. When you're going out and meeting people, dress comfortably, dress nicely. If I could choose every day, I would wear sweats every day, which is basically what I do in my office. But when I'm going out or being out there networking, dress nicely, go on time, talk to people. And I know this could be really hard for introverts, and I get that. But really, it's okay. You can listen and get to know people, tell people about what you're interested in. And a huge part is being present and listening and learning and sharing what you are interested in, because you never know who you're talking to. And you never know what you can create, but if you keep everything inside, it is not going to help. So that's why it's so important to really talk and showcase who you are. And for me too, bring your cards, bring business cards. I think this is like a huge win. Like I see a lot of people at networking events and they like forget their cards, they don't have it. Bring cards, connect with people on LinkedIn. Whenever I meet people now, I'm like, oh, can I add you on LinkedIn? Like it could be anyone. And they're like, yeah. And then, through that in the last week, even I have opened new opportunities for myself. So just do it. And, you're doing it to really get to know someone. You don't know what's to come, but no one's ever said no, but, they're like, yes, connect with me. And lastly, I want to say, really showing gratitude. Like this is the most important thing. Every opportunity I've received, and every part of my life that I have, I will say that because I'm so grateful, which I truly am, that has gone a long ways. And I think that gratitude will never be it. No, let me rephrase that. Gratitude is always going to be a part of my life and someone's life that is going to get you more of what you want, because you're already so grateful for what you have. So, when I was talking about focusing on positivity and love and all these things, whenever you feel like you're ungrateful or that you don't have enough, you're going to get more of that, because you're already in a space where you feel like you're lack, like you're going to energetically get more of that because you don't feel like there's enough there. But when you're like, you know what, I might not be where I'm at, but I'm grateful right now for the things I have. I have running water. I have an iPhone. I can look at things. I have a roof over my head. So let me focus on that. I'm grateful for that. And then let me focus on what I can, what I can create for myself. Like that is going to get you quicker to what you want versus if you're focusing on the negative things. So if you're focusing on, hey, I don't have this, I don't know how to get there. And it's not about feeling lost. It's about you're in a lack mindset. You're in this scarcity mindset where it's not attainable. When you're like, I don't know how to get there, and I know it's attainable. I just know it's going to take time and energy, and I don't even know what sometimes, but I'm grateful for the things I have. That's going to get you there quicker. And then as well as being grateful for every opportunity you have, like the people that I'm around, I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity. And a huge part is because I think about where I was days ago or a year ago or 2 years ago where I really wanted to be in this space, and now I get to be in it. So I have gratitude in that. I have gratitude when I meet people that their time and energy. So I will send them thank you notes. So really having this type of this gratitude in your life is going to help you so much more. So yeah, I would say those are all the things I would do. And so, you know, if you have any questions, please ask in the Q&A. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. And, you know, I'm just so happy to share all these things.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nancy. One other question we did have was, how do you keep a good life balance with everything you're involved in and a busy career?
Yes, that is, I think so many people ask me that. Because, you know, people are always like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, how do you do it all? You're a mom, you have like all these things. So it's funny. I think when we look at each other's lives, we're like, how do you know, and it's, I mean, I think just being a mom in itself, I don't know. I admire women and moms so much. I'm like, I don't even know how y'all do it. You guys are the real MVPs over here. I don't even have to take care of humans. So, but how I do it is I really I prioritize like what I love to do. Like, so anything that brings me joy, I will do. And I always carve out time for self-care. Like I always am one that I take a walk every day. I carve out time for myself to watch, you know, I might be watching YouTube videos on self-help and ways to, you know, just have a better life in the sense of balance, but I also really like trashy TV. So I will carve out time to watch my trashy shows and just do things I love. But on top of that, I think creating healthy boundaries and saying no is really important. So, you know, you don't have to do it all. It looks like I do a lot of things, but I really do it because I love it and things I enjoy. And, you know, perhaps not everyone has that privilege, but you can say no to things. I think that it's really important for people to know, like you can say no and you don't have to say yes to everything. And that's really important to me, is like the quality over the quantity.
Awesome. Okay. And I got another one.
Yeah.
So what's next?
What is next? That is a great question. So, you know, a huge thing that why I loved that I was able to talk about today is that is a question I've been asking myself. And I'm like, you know, this is so perfect that I'm sharing all these things I'm doing, because sometimes I'm like, okay, now what? And I have been feeling that lately. And I haven't even shared that because most people will be like, did you see that bio and the 5 slides that you did? But you know, for me, and I think that everyone is so different. Like, I think that people find purpose and meaning in so many different ways. So and it's really up to you. But for myself, that is a question I'm asking myself. And everything that I presented today is exactly what I'm doing. I'm talking to my mentors. I'm talking to, you know, people that are in these different boxes that I want to get into. I'm asking friends that I trust, like, hey, what do you think like of these ideas that I have? And so it will come. And I think that's something else I want to share. Right now, I do feel like sometimes I'm in this limbo of like, what is next? And I like what I talked about on my sites. I have to trust the process. I'm putting some seeds out there in the world, and I have to be patient with when those seeds grow. So I too am always working on myself in that way. And so the answer is I will know soon when it comes to me. I just know everything I talked about today, including what I'm doing, that the opportunity will come when it is. Like there's a quote that says, luck is when there's no such thing as luck. It's when opportunity and preparation come together. So I'm prepared for what's new, and I'm throwing out feelers, and I think I just have to trust that it will come.
Awesome. All right, Nancy. Well, that is our time today. I want to let everyone here know that this, like we said at the beginning, this will be available. This entire presentation will be available on our video library at www.csulb.edu/alumni. You can get the whole presentation again. You can send it to a friend, send it to a colleague, and we do hope that you will share it out with everyone. And Nancy, you already said, hey, people can talk to you via LinkedIn.
Yes, anytime.
And connect to you. And I think I'll definitely I'll definitely make sure I connect with you too.
Yay, sounds good. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you all so much for showing up today and for asking some great questions. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye, thank you.